Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at an interesting snapshot of interrupted mail sent during World War II. 1939 to 1940 was a time of global chaos, and simply put, letters were a lifeline for people everywhere. World War II tore families and communities apart, not just in Europe but across the world. Soldiers were sent far from home, civilians were evacuated, and territories were occupied, and of course, mail was interrupted. With no way to visit, letters became the main way to stay connected, to share news, and send comfort across vast distances. Telephone lines and switchboards were often blown up by bombings or strategically cut off in war zones, making calls unreliable. Even when phones worked, international calls were expensive and rare, telegrams were short and costly, and far from personal. Letters, though, were affordable, accessible, and let people pour their hearts out in detail, as they did in the First World War. To represent this today, and look at what misfortune befell some items of mail as a result of conflict, we're going to look at an extraordinarily rare item of interrupted mail from World War II that started its journey in the then French Mandate of Lebanon. Interrupted mail, referring to mail delayed or stopped due to external disruptions such as sinkings, fires, war-related events like battles, blockades, or occupied territories disrupting postal services. This is in itself a whole collecting field, and not just restricted to World War II. On June 14th, 1940, the date this cover was posted, Lebanon was under the French Mandate, governed by France since World War I. But the world was shaking and changing. That very day, Nazi German troops marched into Paris, a devastating blow to France. This set the stage for France's armistice on June 22nd and an end to its army's resistance to the German invasion. For Lebanon, this would prove to be a big change. The French Mandate, led by High Commissioner Gabriel Paul in Beirut, was about to shift to Vichy French control, and the Vichy French were a sort of pro-Nazi puppet government. The cover has its postage paid with a 1937-40 blue 7.5 piastre issue, surcharged to be 12.5 piastre for international postage. This is tied by one of two Lebanese Hedath al-Jube bilingual hexagonal dotted cancels, as we can see here. With this stamp, it is also tied by a pink oval censorship mark here, with the letters PGM visible. Note that although this cover was likely briefly in the hands of local authorities, as can be concluded with the censor mark, there is no cachet or explanation for a prolonged detention or a release, which you sometimes see. So I'm going to refer to this item as interrupted mail rather than detained. If we turn over the cover to the reverse, we can see that it continued its journey via Tripoli, which is here, receiving a circular date stamp on the 15th, and then a bilingual French and Lebanese Beirut slogan machine cancel here on the bottom. It's now here the cover sat for most of 5 years, until being posted onto its destination. As we can see from the address, it was posted via Newark, although there is no US receiving, transit or censorship mark visible. If we turn over, we can see that the cover continued its journey and arrived in the Dutch possession of Aruba on the 25th of August 1945. Aruba, of course, being a considerable distance away from Lebanon. So the first cancel on the island of Aruba we can see is from the capital, 25th of August in Oranjestad, and then it leaves the capital and travels to San Nicolas, received here with this CDS on the 27th, as indicated by the circular date stamp. There are of course some clear visible foxing marks here at the bottom and top of the cover, and some discoloration around the edge of the stamp and perforations. However, I can safely say that I probably will not encounter another example of interrupted mail during World War II from Lebanon to Aruba. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and see you on the next one.